the film room with Hayden Howerton. So show us the way, buddy. You've got double-digit plays this week.
We're back, bringing you the film room yet again. Guys, I'm bringing you the end zone shots. I know you guys see the sideline shots on TV, on all the Sports Center clips. I'm bringing you guys as many from behind views as I can. Because for me, I didn't watch film any other way. I would watch some coverages, where maybe I'd have to go to the super wide, all 22. But for me, this is my bread and butter. And what I want you guys to watch, especially defensively, is the amount of excitement that the guys are and have for themselves, for their teammates. And I want you guys to watch the effort piece. Offense, you're going to see some smoke and mirrors. You're going to see some really, really awesome plays, to be honest. But defensively, I just think they took a big step forward from a unit as far as playing as one instead of a bunch of individuals, and they did a much better job. So without further ado, guys, I'm so glad we get to bring this to you guys. Shout out to the SMU staff for yet again allowing us to bring this to you guys. Without further ado, welcome to the film room.
Welcome back to the film room. So wanted to highlight some of the run blocking stuff from this past week's game. While I know that this wasn't the best game overall for a run blocking perspective, as far as I just don't think the volume was there for this unit, I did want to highlight a couple plays here. I want to highlight this inside zone action. I've probably shown this play before up to this season. It's one of our better runs that we have. Just your bread and butter inside zone combos here. So on the front side, you've got a double here between the right guard and the right tackle, and you have an A that I want to highlight here between the center and the left guard. You got Josh Bates, Logan Parr, two of our more experienced guys, and watch how Logan just rolls this guy off the ball. I mean, Josh Bates does a nice job of getting his first two steps in the ground, really setting it up. But Logan does the rest, man. Really just kind of lifts him over. Bates finishes him off here as Logan climbs to the linebacker. This is tough sometimes. You don't want to get overly committed. I would like to see Logan keep that left arm out of it, so that way he can snap off to this linebacker if needed. But does a really nice job of getting him one, and then gets him another one here on the back half of the play, just for good measure. A really nice play to kind of set the tone of how the rest of the game was going to go for this offensive line after a couple 3-and-outs, and I think they performed better at this point. All right, so you've seen this play 100 times by now on social media, but I still want to highlight it because you're eventually going to see this play on Sunday. Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, they're definitely watching this right now to see how they can implement it in their next game plan. So you start off with the bunch formation that we've seen this year. Kevin kind of spreads everybody out. He puts RJ Maryland over to his right in an H-back formation. He gets some motion coming from his left, a little speed motion here across the line of scrimmage. But man, look at this. This is fun, man. Kevin flips the ball behind his back to RJ. RJ cuts it upfield for about a 6-7 yard gain. And it's not just the technique and execution. This is our typical two-man guard tackle counter play. But guys are having fun out here. Football's about fun, man. And we need to see more stuff like this, as I think the team played to have fun on Saturday. And you saw the result in the final score. But the more fun these guys can have, the better they'll play, and it'll just keep snowballing. As the better they play, the more fun they'll have, and I think they just turn it on the rest of the season. Because things like this, guys, are things that kind of inspire me and tell me that this team's going to be okay. But love to see this paired with the black jerseys. It was just a fun day on Saturday for this team. So here we've got counter protection, and while I think this is one of our better protections, I do want to highlight what this fake pitch does to the linebackers. I mean, watch 51-0 as Kevin rolls to his left just a hair, acts like he's going to flip it to Derek McFall, and I mean, these linebackers are pretty much running at this point. Even that outside linebacker, 32, is in the middle of the field, would be in a great position if this ball did get flipped, but even he's being fooled by this. It really kind of opens up the section of the field that RJ Maryland is just slipping through, and then look at this, man. One-handed catch just out in front of him. I mean, this guy can pretty much do it all, and it's good to see RJ back in action. He's doing the things that we're used to him doing. Catches like this, I thought he blocked pretty well. He was the recipient of that behind-the-back pass, and then he stands over a guy. I mean, we're talking about a guy that's got a lot of confidence right now, and a guy who's just waiting on his breakout game. Could be this weekend, but definitely had a nice game against Stanford last weekend. I wanted to highlight Kevin on this next play and talk about how he takes advantage of these defenses. And Kevin is a smart player, guys. They're bringing 7 here. They've got everybody in a house blitz look. Kevin knows where the extra guy is. It's this number 45 rushing through the line of scrimmage here. And all he does is he drifts away from it, buys enough time to be able to flip it to Derek McFall. Derek McFall's guy is supposed to be this number 29 here. You can see him kind of hesitate for a second, and that's all it really takes as McFall slips behind him. This ends up being an easy score for the Mustangs. Derek McFall does a nice job of tiptoeing down the sideline, but this is all set up by Kevin. I mean, Kevin is a smart player, knows where the rush is coming from, buys him just enough time, and when he sees a mismatch here where 29 essentially gets his ankles broke by himself because he's not really sure what to do, SMU takes advantage. So great job, Kevin, kind of using his smarts as well as his playmaking ability and getting the ball into our playmakers' hands for another touchdown. All right, so a misconception about run blocking is I think a lot of people think that to be effective at blocking the run, you got to blow guys off the line of scrimmage. And I'm here to tell you that's not always the case. While it certainly helps to have some run graders, guys that can move guys from point A to point B, the most critical thing in the run game from a schematic standpoint is the angles. And we had to get some angles back here. So this is one of our basic inside zone runs. This is the long touchdown run here to go ahead and spoil it. But we have an out here on the left, an A in the middle, a C on the backside, and then you've got Matthew Hipner really wheeling out for the next guy. And I wanted to highlight really everybody as, with the exception of Chambly, who I think loses his guy late, everybody keeps their defender on their left shoulder. So we're doing a great job of creating a wall here that Chris Johnson Jr. can follow. And yeah, Chambly loses his guy late, but he doesn't end up in the play because RJ Maryland really ends up blocking 2 here because he takes his guy on his angle that he meant to get him on. He gets him covered up enough, and Matthew Hipner just wheels and gets the next guy. This safety filling here is actually in a pretty good spot. He turns, and he's running on a good angle. But, guys, this is just track speed. I mean, I have never seen somebody on this playing field run away from somebody like this. And I've seen some really fast guys. I played with Reggie. I played with Danny. Guys who can really fly. But this was different, man. Fastest player in college football was Chris Johnson Jr. this past weekend. I mean, even Frank Wright is chasing after him down here on the right sideline. But nobody was going to catch this guy. He was just going to outrun everybody. And this was an awesome run. It was definitely some juice that this team needed to get him going, kind of get some confidence back in the run game. But this was awesome to see. All right, on to the defensive side of the ball. So while offense is something that I personally believe takes all 11 to be successful, defense is something that, yes, that's true at times, but I think a lot of times you can have one guy that makes a hell of a play and makes the other 10 right. So wanted to highlight Turbo over here on the left side of he's really coming into his element lately. This is a pretty good pass blocker for Stanford, number 58, but he takes a good initial set. He's in a good spot. And Isaiah Smith just makes a great move. I mean, he knocks his hands down, gets around, turns the edge. And by the time Stanford runs this little play action protection, I mean, Turbo's just back there, man. Huge play for him. But watch Alex Kilgore here. He's dropping into coverage. He's nowhere around the play. But, dude, he's excited for his teammate. I mean, that's what I've been wanting to see from this team. Guys being excited for each other. Guys are ready to play. And this team is starting to play together. So watch out, guys. SMU is starting to come together, and they're coming alive defensively. It wasn't all really good. I think this style of offense that Stanford brought in brings in some issues as you look at the gaps here as Stanford makes some moves, and they have 5 guys on one side of the ball. They've got center, left guard, left tackle, tight end, and another tight end, which creates A, B, C, D, and E gap. It's not often you see an E gap in football. So defensively, you still have to be gap sound, and that gets difficult and a little hairy, to be honest with y'all, when you get into these really big formations like this. So you look at Wu Spencer, 55, the D tackle right here. He's got the B gap. It looks like the D end, and I'm having a hard time seeing who that is, has the C gap, and it looks like Zakai Barker shuffles in. I'm not sure if he has the D gap or if he has the A gap, but either way, that right there is not what we need. So we've got 3 guys all pretty much bunched up in the B gap right here. You're not going to be successful if you have 2 guys in a gap, much less 3. And so it creates hard angles for our safeties. Ahmad Moses has to come downhill, try to make everybody right. The ball gets bounced a little bit, but I thought the pursuit was a lot better, as we'll see here in a couple plays. But this play was nullified for a holding on Stanford's part. But either way, just something for us to learn off of to maintain our gap integrity when we get into some of these big personnel sets like this. So I had ragged on this defense a little bit early in the season about their effort to a sense, about how I didn't think they were playing super hard. Well, maybe we just need to wear the black jerseys every week, because watch this here. And it doesn't really matter what the play is. Well, it's just a pretty simple jet sweep motion to a handoff inside that gets bounced. But watch Speedy Nettles here on the backside. He's not even in the screen at the snap. He runs in, he's trying to read it, he works his way all the way around the play. This is him, number 0, coming into the screen late. And just watch how he works from behind the play. He's chasing him down, he's still running, gets in on the tackle late. But look how many jerseys we have here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 black jerseys here in the screen. This is what I've been talking about from an effort perspective. You've got guys that are now taking it seriously against a really run-heavy team like Stanford to run to the football. And guess what? We're going to need that regardless of what the scheme is going forward. But I thought this was a major improvement for this defense week to week, and they showed it against Stanford last week. To kind of keep on the effort piece for one more play, I want you to watch 2 guys here. One is number 9, Cam Robertson, the D end here on the left side of the screen. And you got Speedy Nettles again for the second play on this tape. And he had more plays than just this guy's, but watch these 2 guys specifically. And Stanford is taking their time. They're getting a lot of calls out here on the line of scrimmage. Just another basic inside zone run that ends up getting bounced because Shaq gets penetration here, which good job, Shaq. You influence the play. Keep your feet, though. You're watching Cam here over on the left side, and I think he does a good job collapsing this gap, but the ball gets bounced here. I do think he gets held. I think that should be a 10-yard penalty on Stanford. The ball should get moved back. But no matter, he falls off. He keeps playing. He ends up in on this tackle that starts at about the 3-yard line and is really taking a forward progression towards what's going to be a score until you see Speedy Nettles again. So check now, back at the top of the play, number 0, bottom right corner of the screen. He's reading. He's in a sprint here, and he ends up saving a touchdown. This is a touchdown if Speedy does not get over there, and we'll see what happens on the next play, a couple plays after this, but Stanford does not score on this drive, and this is a huge part why. So, again, great job on the effort piece from the defense. This was awesome to see. So here a couple plays later, after that Speedy Nettles tackle on the goal line, the next play, Stanford draws a penalty from SMU that sets them up at 1st and 5 on the 5-yard line going in. Really bad situation. And when I was watching this game, I said out loud, ball don't lie, pick 6 right here. Hand on the Bible, that's what I said. But this play was set up by a lot of guys doing their job, and I just want to highlight a few of those guys here. So you've got Turbo, number 1 over here. He's adding in on the rush, which hurried the quarterback, hurried the throw. You have Justin Medlock over here on the right side, number 20. His guy is the tight end here, and he does a good job of dropping into coverage late. That really fooled the quarterback. Makes a great play on the ball, and then he's off to the races. And Metlock is from Manville, and I've had my fair share of experiences with Manville High School, but look how hard guys are running around him. And Brandon Maiazono was essentially in on the pressure here, and he turns around and becomes the lead blocker for his teammate. I mean, look at his head on the swivel. He's looking for somebody to block here. We've got guys hauling down the sidelines, really, really excited for their teammate. There you go. Maiazono gets another block here in about the 15-yard line to ensure that we get the touchdown. But great play by Justin Medlock, set up by a bunch of other guys. So really awesome job by the defense. I think they took a big step this past week compared to what we've seen in the past. While Stanford did get some conversions, I thought they ran the ball well at times. I think overall this defense is getting better and better every week, and I'm excited to see what they can do this week against Clemson.